I'm Brian, and this is Game Story Basics. Creating rhythm means having multiple lines, sentences, or phrases. So discussing rhythm means talking about how to structure multiple lines. Here's an example of a short, long line. I hate that guy. Isn't he just the worst? So that meets the criteria we've talked about in other videos where it's short and then long, so it's got a sense of rhythm. But this is a bad example. Don't do it. Why? Because the second line does not escalate or change direction. It doesn't add anything. It literally just restates the first line in different words. The second line has got to take us somewhere. If all you can do with a second line is add on to the same thing that's already been said, then you should cut the second line. But of course, that makes adding rhythm a bit harder. The two things you can do with a second line are escalate or change direction. So let's start with escalation. Here's an example. I hate that guy. I'd punt him into the sun if I could. The second line goes from hate to murder, even if humorously. So it escalates. It ups everything. The other option is a change of direction. So here's an example of that. I hate that guy, but I wouldn't kick him out of bed, you know? So here, the second line takes us in an unexpected direction. It goes from hate to expressing some kind of interest. Make sure your lines are escalating or taking us in a new direction. That's all for now. One weird trick. Read your dialogue out loud. This will solve 90% of your problems. As soon as you hear it spoken, you'll notice most of what's wrong with it. But wait, you say, that's no big reveal. Everybody says to do that. No big insight. And that's true. Reading your dialogue out loud is not the one weird trick. My big insight on this topic is actually do it. Everyone says to do this, but almost nobody does. In my different roles, I've reviewed dialogue from dozens and dozens of professional writers, and it's often clear that none of this stuff has ever been read aloud. Maybe it's embarrassing, or maybe, you reach a level where you think you're too good to do it. I don't know. But if there are other people around, lock yourself in a broom closet or go sit in a car or something. Put earphones in so people think you're on a call, but find a place and time to read this stuff aloud. And if you really hate yourself, record yourself on your phone doing it. That way you can listen back to your dialogue later and cringe yourself to death. But if you manage to survive, you can revise your writing even more. That's all for now. I'll see you on the next one.